firing the script, you were like, oh.
Yeah, I thought, how on earth are they going to shoot this? And then, of course, they don't actually shoot it at the castle because it would burn down. So that set was the bedroom set was built at Ealing, and actually it was a lot. It was good fun. It was hard work, but it was a lot more tame than it looks on screen.
But there wasn't a moment frantically flicking through the script.
Oh yeah, I thought this would be a good opportunity to kill off half the cast. But so I was quite relieved to see that I was still there. Yeah.
It's obviously the 1924 there's a time of great change, especially with women in their say. How does how does he go with that? Is it a difficult time for him?
It is because
change.
He thought the coalition government was tricky enough, and now we've got an out-and-out Labour government coming in who are going to destroy the very fabric of his society. And that's characterised particularly in Sarah Bunting, the outspoken teacher who's befriended Tom Branson, who I'm sure in other circumstances he'd have a very nice and healthy debate with her about her views, but in fact the fact is she's just an utter cow and horrible. So Robert, that overrides everything, and Robert just wants her to be gone. It's a time of threat. In the past, the jeopardy of the estate has been his own fault for either investing in railways that go under, or not being very shrewd in his business affairs. But this time it's a political shift that is threatening, and it was obviously very true for all those that sort of big houses and the structure of those estates. He's not against change. He just doesn't like the idea of revolution and destructive change, and that really is his sort of tenet, I think, throughout. So once he realises that actually Ramsay MacDonald is not going to chop down the very trees he's planted, he calms down a bit, and but also there's the tiny little shifts of social structure, like him not being made the chairman of the committee, which in his father's day would have been an automatic assumption. You can no longer assume those sorts of Lord of the Manor type things, and that's something that he has to come to terms with, and he does. He accepts that the change is important.
Does he feel he's losing his power?
I don't think he thinks of it as power. I think he always thinks he's never been a sort of power crazed loon. He's more of a he keeps banging on about being a custodian and a guardian and that sort of thing. So he's a conservator of the status quo. That's as bad as powerful as it gets. But he'll use his influence if necessary. But I don't think power is a word he'd bandy around too much. But as the story goes on, as the series progresses, he actually becomes more of a moderniser than one would think from his current position. He sees that change has to happen, but he wants it to happen in the right way, and he embraces it. And I think he becomes good, in my view.
Does Julian ever surprise you with what he gives you to say in that sense as a character? Or do you question it? I mean, how well do you know Robert Crawley?
I sort of, sometimes one of the real pleasures I think of the show is that just when you think you have got someone sussed and sorted, Julian will throw a spanner in the works, and you'll think, oh, you've got to reassess your view of that person. You might. I remember there was a scene with Mary when I discovered something about Mary, about the Mr. Pamuk. I finally discovered about Mr. Pamuk, and I could sense that the scene was about to arrive, and I thought, he's going to blow a gasket, he's going to be this, that, and the other, and it completely not at all. It just surprised me in a good way, and that just when you think you've got a character nailed and you can predict how they're going to behave, then as I say, something he throws a curveball at you. There've been a couple of times, particularly earlier on in this current series 5, where I wasn't quite clear about a couple of things to do with the way the character was reacting to things, and so he wrote some just little bits of fresh material just to clarify what his thinking was, which helped me then understand where particularly over something like Sarah Bunting, I thought it was important that his views towards her were as much emotional as political.
Do those views about her, do they move through this series?
Yeah, it's great fun actually. Yeah, it's great. Basically, they can't stand each other. It's really good fun.
Do you, Cora was telling us that that she feels that in the marriage that she's reached the point where she's been taken for granted by her husband. So is he getting more distant in the marriage?
Well, you see in episode 1 that they've been married for 34 years, and he's perhaps slightly insensitive, deciding to sort of throw a party and not really care whether she wants to be involved or not. You know, he's sort of slightly. It's not like it's a ruby wedding. Or anything.
No, it's a bit random. 34.
Yeah, I know. Well, I think that's the key thing. That had it been a silver or a ruby or whatever, then there would have been more of a sense of occasion. But to him, it's sort of just an anniversary. Well, that's not a very sensible attitude. So I think that's probably what Elizabeth was alluding to. And then, as you saw from the tease, when you see an art historian in the guise of Richard E. Grant coming over the hill, you need to check your paintings.
What was it like having him on set?
Oh, wonderful! He's such a great character.
He knows you too.
I'd met him. I knew him a tiny bit from before, but we became very good pals on this. He's such a bundle of energy and charismatic and good fun. Dear man, really kind man.
Like you, has a good sense, great sense of humour.
He's got a terrific sense of humour. He's also got a terrific nose. I caught him. He sniffs everything. He was sniffing the wall.
Oh, he's got a perfume.
The
Hasn't
wall?
The wall. Yeah. Just before we went on into the drawing room one day, I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "I have to sniff everything." Since he was a child, he just sniffed, and he has an incredibly sensitive nose, and he's created this perfume, which is wonderful. And I bought some. He didn't give it to me, bastard. It's delicious. It's so captivating, and he finally got round to it about 2 years ago. He, because he was trying to, he'd been wanting to make a scent all his life, really. And as I say, smells everything. And finally put it into action a couple of years ago. Was told who to go and see and how to get this thing. You go and see a nose. He found a nose in Paris. It's like a sommelier, I think, and who blended everything. And he said, no, it needs more of this, and it's a very. I like it.
You can have a go. Sounds like you're.
No, I'd be rubbish at it.
With your experience working on The Monuments Men, is that when you're off planning for more big blockbusters? And that was particularly starry cast.
It was an amazing cast. So I really did pinch myself when on my first day's filming to be working with that ensemble. Incredible people, delightful people. Goodness knows. I mean, this Downton has opened doors for so many of us in so many different ways. It's been extraordinary, and it'll pass. But at the moment, it's a lovely thing to the opportunities we've been given are it's too great to pass up. Paddington Bear is another movie that has come entirely because of this, and that's coming out in a couple of months. And sorry? Oh, have you? Oh, very good. Yeah, no, it's and that would had a glorious cast from Sally Hawkins and I playing Mr. and Mrs. Brown, and Jim Broadbent and Julie Walters and Nicole Kidman are in it, and Ben Whishaw is now the voice of the bear. So a tremendous. I can't quite believe that I get the opportunity to work with these people.
How did you end up as the Irish journalist in Love? Because
you're
playing a character who's so distinguishedly British.
I can't remember.